Hello. Welcome to the Pinfall podcast. I have a migraine, so any sudden movements are discouraged. I'm your host, Liz. I am joined, as always, by my lovely, some might say scrumptious, co-host, Marcus.
What am I, like a cake? Like a nice
Yeah, like
chocolate mousse cake?
those like little baby cakes.
Like a tiramisu?
Yeah, you could be a tiramisu.
I like tiramisu.
You've got lady fingers.
Never had a ladyfinger.
If you've had tiramisu, you have.
Oh.
They're coffee soaked lady fingers.
Oh, right, yeah. Tiramisu's underrated.
Oh, dude, tiramisu, I could house an entire tiramisu given the opportunity.
Yeah.
Want to talk about desserts tonight?
I didn't grab my charger for my laptop.
Ooh, I didn't grab a cocktail. I've had 0 alcohol today.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Maybe that's why I got the headache.
Oh, no. That's bad.
Oh.
All right.
My headache's from working out because I'm just so fucking out.
And I want everyone to know I experienced 0 symptoms from the COVID vaccine. As you all saw.
I really was here. I was here thinking, like, shit, that's probably going to suck. Like, he's going to be so miserable during the entire podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our housemate experienced symptoms, at least.
Yeah.
I don't feel alone.
I mean, I had arm pain, but that was it. That's why I had to cut. I was a little rough during my stream on Wednesday.
A little rusty.
A little rusty.
A little ring rust.
Ring rust. So we had Smackdown today.
Sounds like the people next door are like having their own version of Smackdown right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Are you gonna be hyper focused on that for the whole podcast?
I might be if they continue because I have been hearing just constant. It sounds like they're like dribbling a basketball against the wall.
Okay. But anyway, as I was saying, Jimmy Uso's back. That's awesome. Seems like
so happy.
Seems like he's back for good since he was brawling.
And he's like functional now.
Yeah, he's not limping. Bailey is diving down even more of a rabbit hole.
We just discussed that Jimmy was like, I was at home watching your I Quit match. And then talked about running into the ring.
No, he said, I was at home watching the match, then you dragged me into the match. Is he implying that he lives like right next to the Thunderdome, if not in the Thunderdome?
I think he lives in the Thunderdome.
Oh man. Is that where Raw
Somebody
Underground
talked
went?
to Naomi.
Is that Jimmy Uso's home now?
Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks.
He's living in a renovated Firefly Funhouse now.
We have 2 new matches for Backlash. We have
Don't talk about them yet because it's part of my news.
Okay, we have 1 match for Backlash. We have Cesaro versus Roman Reigns. And I guess your other one is the other match, the tag team match, which we'll talk about at the news.
I was going to give an update onto all of the matches so far.
Okay. All right.
It'll be in the news. There's a lot of news today, actually.
All right. But real quick, what'd you think of the episode? I'm torn.
I didn't dislike it, I think, as much as you did. It was frustrating that they were like, we're taking it all the way back to 2006. And I was like, none of this was 2006.
Yeah, it was. Well, like, what Pat and Cole were wearing, yeah, that was 2006. What the ref was wearing was 2006. Yeah.
The denim I would see, but like I felt like the suit jacket felt very 80s.
He was supposed to be copying Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in that case,
Um, the logo, that was not 2006, I don't think.
That was old.
Yeah.
I accidentally got in the middle of a texting conversation 10 seconds before. Like,
What?
I got into a conversation with somebody from years ago all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I was like, fuck me, this is not something I can do right now.
Why do you accidentally do that?
Because they texted me.
Okay. Alright. So don't text back. Anyway, that's not wrestling.
Was a friend in need, Marcus.
Okay. But I thought everything surrounding Roman and Cesaro was fantastic. I thought Bianca and Bayley was great. Everything else was kind of except the Dirty Dogs. The Dirty Dogs actually brought like a storyline to what's happening at Backlash. Like they brought something to the table.
Yeah. I finally felt like I had a reason to watch a tag team shindig.
Yeah, like it's not just for the title, you know? Like there's something on the line for Dominic here. And then the 10-man tag was chaotic.
I kept up really well with that up until a point. And then all hell broke loose and I was like, we're doing so well.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of 10-man tags in general. It's just my taste. I don't really like it. And then Reginald and Tamina. I am tired of seeing Reginald wrestle women because you know for a fact he's not gonna lay a hand on any of them. So you know exactly how the matches are gonna go. You're just watching a man run around and taunt. Like it's frustrating.
I think like the issue is that like I love seeing like a man and a woman in the ring together. And I guess this is like the best we're gonna get. But there does need to be some semblance of like
A match.
The man caring about it being a match.
Yeah. Like have him fight. Like have it be a match. Have him try
at least take a swing.
Yeah. Like come on. It's a match. It's
but
a fight.
Hopefully maybe one day we'll get more than just that. I don't know.
There was one match where I literally looked down at my computer for 5 seconds and it was over. Oh, it was Dom.
The Carmella match?
No, it was Dom. Oh, wait.
Carmella lasted like 2 minutes, I think.
I think it was... No, it was Dom and Dolph. That lasted like 2 seconds.
I mean,
didn't...
There were... The only matches that actually had some length to them were Seth versus Cesaro and the 10-man tag. And that's it. Everything else was a blip on the radar.
Yeah. Although they gave a story. Because Milo mentioned this on Twitter. Yes, they gave a story. But at the end of the day, it's a wrestling show. You gotta give the main focus on the wrestling.
I got a mini Shield reunion.
Just have John Moxley in there.
Shut
Alright, news.
Yeah, let's talk about the news. We got a lot of fucking news to talk about.
Well, we're already almost 30 minutes in.
Oh, shush. It's our Saturday
It's Saturday? Oh, hell yeah.
It's our Friday podcast. Doesn't matter. Okie duck. God, one day, I can't wait for this. I'll have my black and red news sign up. I'll wear my cherry earrings again. I'll have my red scrunchie on, my red lipstick, but I'll also have my hair dyed. It'll be all red and some black. Even though my hair's not really black, but it kind of comes across as it's a dark, dark brown. I'm sorry. Where am I?
We're doing the news, and you said you have a lot, so I feel like we should just
Oh my god. Okay,
dive
fine.
into it.
So let's talk about some non-WWE stuff, and then we'll go into some WWE stuff. Let me open up the Twitter app and not the Tumblr app. Concept. Okay, so first things first. AEW is planning on having a huge crowd, apparently, for Double or Nothing. They're planning to set a capacity of 5,000 fans. There's a little bit of a wrench in that AEW expected there to be 2,500 for Blood and Guts, and there was only 1,600.
Mm-hmm.
So people are kind of wondering if we're going to have the same problem. It's not as many as they had for WrestleMania, but I mean, this is technically a lot for AEW.
Yeah.
I think their fingers are just really fucking crossed that because it's going to be on Memorial Day weekend, people will have the time.
Plus, they weren't allowing full capacity for Blood and Guts. The first time they're allowing full capacity is for Double or Nothing. So maybe that'll make a
That's
difference.
actually not true. They ran at full capacity on. Oh, sorry, no, I misread this. This was just Daly's Place ran at full capacity for a concert. But what they're gonna do is they're doing a Friday night taping as well as a Saturday fan fest leading up to the pay-per-view. So hopefully that'll draw people in.
Yeah.
With that said, good lord, there is a lot of shit going on with fucking AEW right now. Obviously, this is sort of WWE, but I mean, there was the Chelsea Green thing, and then there was the Young Bucks thing with the crediting fans for art. And now, who other than the one and only MJF has decided to get in on that? Posting 4 separate pieces of art depicting his incredibly bloody face from Blood and Guts. Posted that with the caption, Mark Art. And somebody said, may you share / tag the name of the artist, please? And he said, no. You made the point that the credit is in the pictures.
And
still.
And the artist was in the replies giving credit themselves.
But still, we are past the age of, like, being a dick because you're a dick on TV.
Right, but also, we also don't know, like, maybe they had, like, a little DM conversation. MJF was like, do you mind if I, like, not credit you? And you just do it yourself in the replies? So that I can keep up being a heel.
That's still a dick thing to do. It's, like, still just, like, an asshole. I mean, like, the thing at the end of the day is that if you're an asshole because it's kayfabe and you're not on TV, you're just an asshole. If I were a dick to you and I was like, well, it's kayfabe, you'd probably still be like, oh, my feelings are hurt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. MJF is just, like, the king of doing this shit, and it's just so tiring sometimes. Because, like, every time I forget that he did something horrible, he does something horrible again, and I'm like...
Well, let's not say he's doing something horrible, because we say people are doing horrible things when they're doing much worse things that actually have consequence towards people.
I mean, to be fair, if it's of any consequence to you, he was also pointed out when Speaking Out happened for being part of a group of wrestlers that apparently... like, bullied the shit out of another wrestler.
Like some hazing type thing?
I don't know if it was hazing or just being a general dick.
Is there no
Um,
details?
I don't remember the details at this point. I just remember that specifically. Because I mean, at this point, there were so many people called out. But you know, it is one of those things. With that said, speaking of people that have gotten in trouble in the past, or being themselves, I guess. Apparently, there's rumors that there's some heat between Cody Rhodes and like the guys in the Elite, like for real, for real.
Wait, guys in the Elite? Like who?
Um, it seems that it's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks specifically.
Oh. So by the Elite, you mean... Oh, is that their faction name, the Elite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, Brian Last was on Jim Cornette's podcast and suggested that the reason that Cody has not been on being the Elite in a very long time and seems to just kind of be focused on his mid-card feud is because there were some nasty texts or emails exchanged between Cody and either the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega that has caused like real life tension.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like a little weird.
Yeah.
I kind of always like when there's like a little bit of like real ass tension in like wrestling, and I'm like, oh shit. It's not just all TV.
Cody's something else.
Dude, Cody is one of those people where like he just does shit, and I'm like, it's Cody. What do I expect at this point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on.
No, I just said yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Alberto Del Rio real quick before we jump into WWE news. Which is just to say that Alberto Del Rio's kidnapping and sexual assault trial has been postponed once again. It was originally set for January, then it was moved to May 3rd, and now it has been moved back to August 2nd.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Sometimes I'm like reminded of Del Rio's skeletons in his closet, and I'm just like, Jesus fuck, dude. What the fuck? And it's 1 charge of aggravated kidnapping and 4 charges of sexual assault.
Wow.
Fuck's sake. That said, he was arrested in 2020 on May 9th, so about a year ago now. And it's taken this long, and it's going to take longer for anything to come of it. Incredible. So, with that said, segue here. We have news that there were AEW Dark Talents at WWE tryouts. This includes a lot of like the jobbers. So Kesha Price was there. Apparently, Alex Garcia. And then some other names are Eva Everett from Limitless and Natalia Markova from Shine. It's cool to know that they're holding tryouts, though. Apparently, there were 12 people in total.
I thought that was a while ago, though, because JD Drake was talking about that. And he was talking about, like, the past. Like, he had auditioned, but they didn't want him.
I mean, they do tryouts on a rolling basis.
Mm-hmm.
And these tryouts happened in the last couple of days.
Mm.
So, I don't know. I wonder if this was just for women, though, because all of these people mentioned were women. So I wonder if it was just women's tryouts, which is even more exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe they're looking for jobbers for the main roster.
It's sad when you say it like that.
I mean, it's true. I mean, where else would they need women? Because NXT doesn't need women.
NXT doesn't need anybody at this point.
Yeah.
Actually, two 2 recent signings are debuting on 205 Live tonight.
Hmm.
So it's kind of cool that they're using new talent for that.
Yeah.
So in WWE news, let's see. Let's start with the small stuff. Two WWE stars were given new names. And would you believe it if I told you it was Rinku Singh and Dilsher Shanky? Dilsher Shanky is now just going by Shanky, and Rinku Singh is now simply known as Veer. They filed trademarks for it. In addition to those trademarks, they also filed to trademark Asher Hale, which is a good sign. But I feel bad for Rinku Singh, dude.
Yeah.
He's just been bounced around.
Also, fun fact about Asher Hale. He had a feud with Darby Allin in Darby Allin's last promotion before AEW, I think. I'm not sure what promotion it was, but they had a feud.
They look very similar, actually.
Yeah, they do. And Miriam said the new people debuted and they were wonderful.
I am not shocked at all. I saw their... Sounds weird. I saw their faces and I was like, they look like they're fun. They look like they're fun to watch. And having new talent debuting makes me want to watch 205 Live again.
Can I just talk about how weird 205 Live is, like the concept? An entire show dedicated to just male cruiserweights. That's a very strange concept. Like, what if it was like all male heavyweights? That'd be weird.
450 Live?
Like, I get you want to show off the talent, but like 450 Live. Like, do you need to start a whole show to just like in that?
I mean, maybe back in the day
class?
they had more cruiserweights. Maybe they were like, we've got so many cruiserweights and we have nothing to do with them.
So I can't believe Everrise are cruiserweights. That doesn't make sense to me. Especially Matt Martell. He doesn't look like a cruiserweight. I mean, Mendoza doesn't look like a cruiserweight.
Well, Mendoza's small, though.
Is he?
Oh, actually, he's a shorty.
Huh.
I don't think I'm actually going to be able to look up.
What are you looking up? His weight or height?
Matt Martell is actually 224 pounds.
Is he still on the show?
I mean, he might... You know how I always say it doesn't make sense that he's fucking Canadian?
Mm-hmm. Because he's not?
He's not fucking Canadian. He's from Queens.
Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Chase Parker, I can see being fucking Canadian, though. That makes sense. I assume I'm looking at the right person. I could be totally wrong. I am wrong. Sorry. I'm looking at... Okay. Look at Matt Martell, WWE. Get Matt Striker.
Yeah, that's right. That's Matt Martell.
You sure about that?
I mean, I've Google searched him before. If you go back, that picture, the second picture from the left is Matt Martell's profile picture.
I'm very confused.
It's because he's so new in the business that all of his information online isn't really updated. But yeah, Matt Striker is Matt Martell.
Okay, so yeah, he's from Queens. Okay, so I'm not
wrong. But we should continue with the news because you said you would a lot.
Yes, I do. Moving through it pretty quickly, actually, though. So with that said, I had SummerSlam news. And SummerSlam news is very specifically that it is supposed to be their kickoff to touring again. SummerSlam is going to be the beginning of returning to the road. Right now, they have not yet determined where it's going to take place. It's not going to take place where it was originally supposed to, which I think was like in Texas, not mistaken. Right now, apparently, they are looking at 3 to 4 different locations, with one specifically, according to WrestleVotes, having better odds than the others.
Huh.
No fucking clue what that means, but I thought it was interesting that this is going to be the beginning of like touring again. I'm looking forward to that because that's like what WWE needs.
Yeah.
I mean, they've held it together as best they could, but
I don't even think they need to tour. They just need an audience. They throw out the fucking Thunderdome. It didn't work. They utilized it poorly. It's too goddamn bright. The forced reactions are horrible, and the lack of creativity used for the actual Thunderdome itself is unbelievable.
I don't disagree. It's painful to fucking watch sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on the brightness, especially Smackdown. Smackdown's always the worst with it, and I don't know why. I don't know if maybe it's the blue.
It's the blue.
Like at least like with like when it's warm lighting, it doesn't like hurt your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But like SmackDown content wise is easier to watch than Raw. But at least with Raw, it's like if it were 3 hours of blue.
You need contrast. You need contrast with the wrestlers. Like, come on.
I'm excited for that. And then just some short pieces of news. Unfortunately, Arcade Bro is getting a massive push, apparently. So we haven't seen the end of that nightmare.
They've
been
doing well in the ring. They really have.
You know, it sucks. I'm mad. Randy, why did you retweet my tweet? This was how it was gonna end. You fuck. Apparently, Randy is getting some praise for being very helpful to. This headline called it a new WWE star backstage, and that is actually that Mansoor said that Randy has been helping him out a lot backstage. Is always there to like give him like honest feedback and like help him out. That he's like super approachable and very like nice.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Randall, my boy. Also Mansoor, my boy.
Miriam said, well, if all goes accordingly, then Randy will probably be hit by the Riddle curse and either be off TV for a while or just turn on him. Yeah.
And that's probably true. I do like that, like, I love that Matt Riddle's thing is just, after a certain point, people just get so fucking annoyed with him. Or, on top of that, are gone for extended periods of time.
Yeah.
Like, Tim Thatcher's thing was just that, like, he got to the point where he was like, I fucking cannot be with this man anymore. And then we got the fight pit. The final piece of news, and I would like some praise for going through this as fast as I possibly could, is that we do have new matches announced for Backlash, including Cesaro and Roman and Dolph and Robert Roode versus Dominic and Rey. And that brings us up to, so far, 5 announced matches with Bobby, pardon my soul, versus Braun versus Drew, Bianca versus Bayley, and Rhea versus Asuka versus Charlotte. Which I swear to the good Lord in heaven, if Becky doesn't come back for that fucking match, I don't know when she will.
Probably gonna come back for Bayley versus Bianca.
There's opportunity. There's so many opportunities.
But
okay.
I have a feeling the Mysterios are gonna get the title so that they can then pass it off to the Usos.
Father, son versus brother and brother.
Yeah. What tag team is being given a lot more attention more than the Usos, even after just one episode?
Yeah. I get you. Matches and promos.
Yes, matches and promos, and hopefully my laptop doesn't die because my charger's not in here. So we started off with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso coming out to the ring. We get a whole recap video of last week. Paul wants to eulogize Daniel Bryan's career, and so they give a 10-bell salute. But he said, "We don't need your help, Mr. Schmucky Timekeeper," to ring the bell. And so he uses his voice for the bells. He just goes ding, ding, ding. Oh, Paul. Then Roman, after the 10-bell salute, Roman says he's a man of his word. He did what he said he would. Put everything on his back and carried it. Everyone should acknowledge him. He smashed him, pinned him, and got rid of him. And then he replaced him with someone who will acknowledge him. And then Jimmy Uso comes out.
Jimmy!
Weird that he said he replaced him with Jimmy Uso because Daniel Bryan was a competitor and Jimmy's supposed to be an ally. I thought he was going to say Cesaro was his replacement because two opponents, you know? I don't know. This is just weird verbiage on his part.
Yeah.
But Cesaro then comes out. He says, "Did you say you replaced Daniel Bryan? You can never replace Daniel Bryan. But I don't have time for you tonight, Roman. I have to focus on my match with Seth later." And then Seth immediately attacks Cesaro from behind. Teddy Long then comes out. Also, we should mention this is the throwback episode of Smackdown. Hence Teddy Long. Hence the fucking lack of fist. Mad about the lack of fist.
It was such a slap in the face. Ironically, it was a slap in the face. To have no fist, but a CGI fist.
Bronson Reed was mad. He kept tweeting about it. Oh my god, wait, let me hold on. Bronson Reed, WWE on BT Sport tweeted about the fist, like the CGI fist, and Bronson Reed just he posts a GIF which is like the oh man. Yeah, the lack of fist was annoying. The lack of really anything throwback was annoying. They had so much to work with. But Teddy Long comes out and proclaims that if Cesaro beats Seth, he will get a title match against Roman at Backlash. And so we have now Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. I thought this would be our main event. I guess not.
So we start with Seth just fucking pummeling Cesaro in the corner. We get a sling blade to Cesaro and then a jumping knee off the top turnbuckles, which Michael Cole called a running knee. I was like, there was no running involved in that. Okay, Michael. Anyways. Seth then tosses Cesaro from the ring and drives him into the barricade, and then the apron, and then the barricade, and then tosses him back into the ring. Once we're back in the ring, Cesaro gets an uppercut off on Seth, unloads. Seth runs at Cesaro. Cesaro lifts him up, pressing him overhead before Seth breaks free and stomps on Cesaro's knee. Cesaro, however, manages to lift Seth after breaking free of a cravat, brings him down in a vertical suplex. After, Seth struggled for a second, he, lifted him, and I said, oh my god, maybe I am into bald men. So then there's some uppercuts and alternating corners to Seth, and finally a discus lariat. He wants the swing, but Seth counters. So Cesaro countered. Seth twisted his leggies instead to avoid the swing, and Cesaro just decided to sit and try to pin him. So Cesaro goes for the neutralizer, can't get it, manages to get Seth down onto the mat instead. He goes for it again, but gets lifted to the outside. Finally, he goes up top, and then Jey interferes. And Seth scrambles up to meet Cesaro. We get a superplex and a float over into the Falcon Arrow. Cesaro then goes for the sharpshooter after that post-commercial break. Can't get it in. Goes for the crossface instead, but Seth rolls through. We get a neck breaker to the back of Cesaro's neck. Finally, there's a failed stomp. Seth catches himself, gets that back heel kick to Cesaro, which is like one of his new favorite moves, I guess. Since we have seen it in literally every single one of his matches.
And the more he does it, the more I'm convinced, like, it's not practical.
It's not. It makes sense, like, in, like, the heat of the moment, but, like, when you see it every single time, you're like, Seth, how do you keep getting yourself into this situation?
Yeah, but Cesaro, at some point, it's gonna get countered, and it's gonna look fucking embarrassing when it gets countered.
Has Seth managed to stomp yet? Do you know that?
Yeah. He stomped Cesaro.
Okay. I wasn't sure. So he goes for the stomp again, but Cesaro catches him and drops him on the top buckle. Cesaro then is fucking buckle bombed. But on the rebound, clothesline Seth. Cesaro is then launched over the top rope to the ringside area. Jay goes to attack Cesaro, but Seth says, "Don't do that. I can take care of my own fucking problems. Thanks." Jay continues to look like he wants to interfere, so Seth pushes Jay. Then Cesaro gets to Seth as Seth climbs in. We get the neutralizer for Cesaro to win.
Yes, that match was full of counters and was fucking awesome.
They're good together.
It was counters
I cannot
to counters.
believe, though. I can't believe that fucking... This is Cesaro's first title opportunity. Like, singles title opportunity.
Not his first singles world title. I think he's had intercontinental or United States opportunities.
Okay.
But yeah, this
when you
is
put it like that, okay.
First world title.
When they were talking about it, I first of all forgot about the bar, and once I remembered the bar, I was like...
The title. I think he's gone for IC or a US title. Which makes sense because he's been a mid-card wrestler. But let's see. Yeah, after that match, we had Seth and Roman backstage, and this promo's interesting. Promo's very interesting. Seth is mad about Jay and Jimmy. Roman said, "By losing, you screwed me over. Now I have to deal with Cesaro. When it comes to family, I'll handle that too." And Seth says, "You handle them, or I will." The way Seth talks to Roman is something that he would punish Jay for, or anybody for talking to him. Seth is the only person that Roman will recognize as an equal. It's very interesting.
When they were standing there just talking, it was like, okay. So clearly we aren't just sweeping the Shield under the rug, because I feel like he wouldn't have that same respect if it were just some schmuck.
Yeah.
You know?
I want them to kind of mention their history together, but I don't want them to just blatantly talk about the Shield, you know? Because that was back when they were faces.
Didn't Seth mention something about?
He might have, but I don't know.
I think he said something along the lines of like you know me, like, I don't know. I could have sworn. I felt fulfilled afterwards, so I feel like it had to have happened.
Okay. But after that, we have Teddy Long and Sonya Deville backstage. Apparently, Sonya gave Teddy the idea of Seth versus Cesaro with the stipulation. Sonya says that she has Teddy's back. Since Adam Pearce isn't here. Sami Zayn then walks in. He says, "Oh, Teddy Long, I've got to talk to you about something. A third party that is not associated with the WWE at all. There's a huge conspiracy against me right now. I know you're not in on it. I need you to give me a match tonight. And then Teddy said, I got you covered. I'm going to give you a one-on-one with The Undertaker. And Sammy's like, what? No, he's retired, first of all. And then Teddy says, all right. Instead, you're getting a tag team match with Apollo Crews. And Sammy's like, well, not that either, because I want the Intercontinental Championship. But Teddy says, you're going to need all the help you can get against Shinsuke, Big E, Kevin Owens, and the Street Profits. Sammy says, wait, that's 2 against 5 still. And Teddy says, nope, that's a 10-man tag match. And nothing has convinced me more that Teddy Long has Alzheimer's than this promo. This, I mean, the way they were writing him sounded like he had dementia or Alzheimer's or something.
They wrote him like he was losing his goddamn marbles, for sure.
Yeah. I didn't mean that Teddy Long himself has Alzheimer's. But and after that we have Roman and the Usos backstage. Roman says, you've been back for 1 hour and you already screwed it up. I took a lot of time off myself and I changed the game. I give you the same and you mess it up. Jimmy says that he's nobody's bitch. Walks out and Roman tells Jay to handle it. Very interesting stuff.
Jimothy said, I'm nobody's bitch, and my heart just stopped. I was like, oh, fuck. Jimmy's been back for 5 seconds, and Jimmy's starting some shit.
Now I wonder, is Jimmy going to help Roman or help Cesaro win at Backlash? Because he could convince Jay to not help Roman, but the fact that Jimmy helped later on at the very end kind of tells me that that's not going to happen. That Jimmy's in the group for good. I don't know.
It's foggy.
It is foggy. But what isn't foggy is Ruby Riott versus Carmella. A match that I was actually pretty excited for because we got Riott Squad and we got Carmella back after not seeing them since WrestleMania. Yep, it's been since WrestleMania. Yep.
Really?
Yep. Carmella might have been in one promo, but that was it.
I mean, I knew about Carmella, but for some reason I thought we saw the Riot Squad more recently than that.
Nope. It's been all Natty and Tamina.
I got some shit to say here.
This match was looking great. This was fun. Until it was 2 minutes.
Why did we go through all of the hassle of rebranding Carmella just for her to come out as Money Mella with a different walkout song?
I don't think this is like I don't think this is the same Carmella. I don't think it's
feels the same.
Because I've been watching some old stuff with Carmella. This Carmella seems a bit different. I mean, yeah, she moonwalked. Yeah, she's got the Money Mella gear. But her attitude seems different.
How would you know? We had 3 minutes of her attitude today.
Well, I mean, after WrestleMania, after everything prior to WrestleMania.
I'm genuinely disappointed because I didn't love the new Carmella. But, like, they gave her such different gear.
Mm-hmm.
That I kind of thought that meant something.
Well, the gear was probably her choice. She was probably like, "Oh, I missed the Money Mellow stuff so much. Let me wear it every match now."
That doesn't, I mean, that's not normally how that works.
Isn't it though?
No, I mean, like, if you have that kind of say, some people have that kind of say, but not a lot of people do.
I feel like Carmelo would have that say. Carmelo's been in the business long enough.
I don't know. I'm just disappointed.
But we're just talking out of our asses right now. Let's talk about the match.
I suppose. All right. I don't even know what the point of this fucking match was, by the way.
It was to give TV time.
In terms of storyline, I was kind of trying to figure something out, but yeah. So Carmella shoves Ruby. We get a knee to the midsection of Carmella. Ruby goes to lift Carmella, but she gets down. There's a knee to the midsection of Ruby. Ruby grabs Carmella's head with her knees as Ruby's pushed into the corner. Carmella runs at her. Ruby grabs Carmella's head with her knees and shoves her into the turnbuckles. We get a leg sweep takedown to Carmella. Ruby goes up top and then gets kicked in the hand by Carmella. And then kicked in the face. It's like she goes down. And Carmella kicks through her leggies. And Carmella attempts to do a dirty pin onto Ruby. It doesn't work because Liv calls her out. Carmella then kicks Liv off the fucking apron.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get like 41 different roll-ups until Carmella gets the cone of silence locked in on Ruby and Ruby taps out. Which, to be fair, if I were to have a finisher, that would be it.
Yeah. It's a nice finisher.
Not only is it a nice finisher, I know it's a finisher I could fucking do because my little leggies are strong as shit.
After that 3-minute long match, we had Bayley in the ring. Bayley, her hair is looking frantic as it was last week, which might be a little sign that she's continuing to be unhinged and going further and further down that hole. She said, "You have to be a superstar to be in the ring, but just because you're a superstar doesn't mean you're a good champion. I want to pay tribute to some fellow women's champions." She goes through some old school names like Alundra Blaze, Beth Phoenix,
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, and then she gets to Bianca. She skips a lot of people, but she gets to Bianca. She said she's so naive to the world around her, and she might wind up like those other women, not on Bayley's level. When she looks into Bianca's eyes, she sees insecurity. And she's maybe the first challenger for the title, but she will be the last challenger. Bianca Belair then comes out and she says, "Can I live? Like it or not, I'm living my best life. Insecure, you wish I was insecure. It's my confidence that bothers you." Bayley then just starts going on the laughing tirade. Like she has been. Am I going through like some Joker thing with Bayley? I feel like that's what's happening. It's very uncomfortable.
She does make me very tense.
She then attacks Bianca. Bianca dodges her attack and then starts retaliating. She gives a drop kick to Bayley. Bianca takes off one of her earrings, and then Bayley starts tugging at her other earring, pulling on it. Eventually, he takes her to the floor and then stands on Bianca's hair. Gets off. Bianca has a second to rest, but then Bayley smashes Bianca's face into the mat. And yeah, very brutal.
She started pulling on Bianca's earring. Oh my god. Like, that is the one thing for me where I'm just like, that's an automatic no. Like, especially like when they were doing it to like Jeff Hardy with his gauges. It's like I will never forget, and you were with me for this. I had like one of those good face masks on. I had dangly earrings on as well, and I was trying to take the face mask off, and it got caught on my earring, and it was pulling my ear, and I was like, it's just like an instant panic response where you're just like, it's gonna tear my earring out. Like that's the only way that this is gonna end.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine somebody pulling my earring. I would have a fucking panic attack.
Yeah. Remember when Triple H and Batista had that match and Triple H pulled out Batista's nose ring?
I didn't like that.
That was rough.
That was like, that's up there in like the very small group of matches where like I cannot watch that twice.
Mm.
I'm just like, ugh.
But moving on from that Bailey promo, we then have the Usos backstage. Jimmy said that he meant what he said out there. That it's just supposed to be Jay and Jimmy. Whatever Jay does benefits Roman. Jay says he's family though. He makes us strong while he's champion. Jimmy says we need each other though, and then he pitches the idea of the Usos as tag team champs. And then we move on to Dominic Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler. It was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus Dolph, but Dolph had some words to say to Dominic, motivating him to join this match.
Yes, I don't know if you want to speak to those words or not.
Dolph just got in the ring, looking like a fucking weirdo.
What was that hair? It was like Rey from Star Wars, except
it was like Rey mixed with like, you remember when Ariana Grande did like the bubbled hair?
Yeah.
It was like that. It was weird.
Yeah. Hair always looks so crispy too, and I'm like, you definitely straighten that shit when it's still wet, and I know that for a fact.
Although today was a million times better than that weird insert braid that he had. That was bad.
You just wanted to be Bianca, dude. That's all that was.
Anyway. He basically just got in the ring and told Dom that he's basically like he doesn't belong. He doesn't belong on SmackDown. He's just Rey is a prestigious wrestler. Dominic is just Rey's son. That's all he's known for. That's all he'll ever be. And then Dom got mad, said I'm fighting. And then we have this match.
Rey was so ready too. I felt so bad for him. Dom was just like, no. Dominic time.
Mm-hmm.
My first note is just Dom in all caps with a bunch of question marks. Not sure what that means.
I think it was like Dom's wrestling?
Oh no, it was because out of nowhere, because Dolph was still screaming about something, and then it was just censored silence.
Oh.
When Dominic was supposed to be talking.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, what'd you say?
I forget what he said to him.
We don't know exactly what he said.
Called him an asshole or something, or a shithead. Bitch.
Probably an asshole. I feel like the censor was too long for bitch, I feel like.
Probably asshole.
Yeah, asshole felt like the right length of time. So Dom gets slapped in the face after dodging Dolph a couple times. Dom slaps Dolph. It's a big drop kick. We go ringside. Dolph slams Dominic into the ground. We get a punch to the face of Dolph back in the ring. Dominic gets flattened by some fists from Dolph. Then we get a neck breaker. There's a nasty little spine buster onto Dom. Dom, I didn't know how I felt about this, and I still don't. Dominic manages to just get a small package roll up to Dolph to win. Nothing fancy. Dom barely got any hits in. If he got the drop kick and the slap.
Yep.
That was it.
Nothing like having the champion go down in a match like this. I don't know.
I feel like it's a little different in that sense when it's tag teams, only because it's like, well, if it was a singles match and then you still have a tag team partner that you can go on. Okay. I'm losing my voice, but if you have another partner that you can turn to, it's a little different than like when we were worried that Rhea was gonna win Asuka before she got the title. But
I want American Alpha or Alpha Academy to get tag titles. I know it's not gonna happen, but that's my dream. I want them to get the tag titles. I want Dolph and Root to go back to being singles guys. And another tag team comes in.
I literally do not give 10 shits about Rude on a good day. I'm still mad about the music. It's so weird because I genuinely do not care about Robert Roode as like a wrestler at all.
It's because you didn't watch
The
him in
music
NXT.
makes me so mad. True, that's true.
He's been incredibly lackluster joining the main roster.
Well, he was interesting enough to watch for a little while, and then when he got into the tag team, that's when he got real boring.
Trying to think.
Back when he did more single stuff, I guess, is what I'm saying. Before it was just him and Dolph doing tag stuff all the time.
Yeah. Alright, so after that match, we had an interview with Reginald, Nia, and Shayna. Reginald says that Tamina left a sour taste in my mouth last week with what they had to say and what they did. Nia and Shayna will break their bodies at Backlash, but now I will break Tamina's spirit. No, you won't, because you won't lay a goddamn hand on Tamina. How are you going to break her spirit? Fucking embarrassing.
Barb.
Then we have a little promo with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Roman says, I need my cousin. Paul says, which one? And Roman just turns at him, scowls, and Paul says, I understand. This was so unnecessary, but it was so funny.
I also want to point out, because we didn't get to talk about this, because I forgot about it. When Seth was fighting, they cut to Roman for a second. You could see Paul sitting there, like, with, like, the title over his face, and, like, he was just, like, looking at the TV, looking at Roman, looking at the TV, looking at Roman. I'm being yelled at. You hear that?
No.
Oh. Anything else to say? Nothing else to say.
Okay.
It's just a very gentle row.
No, Tamina versus Reginald?
Yes. It's a cat. Okay. Now I'm ready to talk. I got hit by the cat, so. Prepared. So, Tamina attempts a super kick to start. Let me try that one more time. Tamina attempts a super kick to start. It fails because Reggie backflips away, goes out to ringside, nearly gets back in the ring before flipping himself back out. He dodges a punch and then another, acting like he's like the fucking Matrix. Or Neo from the Matrix. Tamina grabs him by the hair, tries to flip him by the hair. He lands on his feet. He goes to slide under Tamina, but Tamina grabs him, throws him into the corner. My apologies. Reggie then goes up top, gets all the way up to the top of the ring post, flips over Tamina before she can make it up to him, lands in the ring, super kick to the face of Reggie. Tamina goes up top, up to do the super fly splash. Shayna pushes her down. It's a DQ. Nia pulls Reggie from the ring. Natty comes in, It's a brawl. We get an elbow stomp to Tamina and then a Samoan drop into the barricade that looked fucking nasty, by the way. And that's where that ends. It was. Listen, I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it until I don't have to. I'm really happy that Tamina's getting the spotlight that she deserves.
Right.
Whether it's in stupid fucking matches like this or not. At least this is leading us somewhere.
What are they afraid of, though, by not having Reginald hit Tamina? What are they afraid of?
I don't know why he's like their go-to mixed match guy.
Because he can just run. He runs fancily. That's it.
That's licking my toes.
Okay. Also, I think the women's tag team championship match is actually happening next week, not at Backlash.
I wonder if they're doing what they did with the tag match at WrestleMania. Men's tag match, sorry. Where like they had the men's match happen during a network show.
Oh, okay. I thought you
and
were
then
talking
they'll
about...
have
Yeah.
Then they'll have the men's tag at the actual pay-per-view, just like a little tradesy.
It's possible.
I feel like that's the case.
But I think next week is also supposed to be another throwback episode. Because the card for the women's tag team match is done in the throwback format.
I think they only did it because it was the throwback episode today.
But they didn't have throwback cards for Backlash.
I think that's just because those are pre-made.
Hmm.
Like, I think those were probably made in advance.
I guess we'll find out.
Also, they did not exactly commit to the throwback aspect.
Yeah, they didn't. I'm annoyed.
Much like we expected them not to.
I'm mad.
I know you're mad.
But after that match, we had Apollo Crews and the rest of his team backstage. He starts going through what everyone brings to the table. Corbin's got leadership. I think Alpha Academy has power. Yada, yada, yada. And then Sammy has... And then finishes up. And then we go to Biggie and the rest of his team. He says the other guys will feel the power. And then Shinsuke says we want the smoke. And then we get the Street Profits, Biggie, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Kevin Owens versus Alpha Academy, Apollo Crews, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn.
You want to hear a confession that I have?
Yeah.
I think I'm attracted to Dabba-Kato.
Alright, we're moving on. There was no need for you to say that. There was no need for you to say that live. Why would you mention that when we're on a live podcast with the live audience? Why would you say that?
There's just something about him. I don't know what it is, but like every week now he's out there and I'm just like...
You couldn't hold your tongue for maybe another half hour? You couldn't have said that in private or even texted it to me right now?
I had to finally admit to my feeling.
You could have admitted in private. Fucking embarrassing.
Oh. Anyways, now that I've done that.
Yeah, talk about this hellscape of a match.
Okay, so we start with Dawkins versus Chad, and the moment the first second into this match, I was just like, oh, I'm fucked. I'm so fucked. A takedown to Dawkins meets a head scissors from Dawkins, and then we get the same thing, but there's a takedown to Chad that's reversed into a head scissors submission from Chad. There's a deep-ass arm drag to Chad, a deep-ass arm drag from Chad, and then one to Chad. Dawkins and pancakes Gable before tagging in Tez. We get a drop kick to Gable, and then Montez blows a kiss after Chad breaks the cover. A little kiss over to the rest of the opposing team. Chad gets pushed kind of towards the opposing team's side. He kind of kicks at Big E. Big E almost gets involved. But Montez gets Apollo in. Apollo just kind of slams Montez left and right for a little while until Sammy tags himself in. There's a boot to the midsection of Montez repeatedly and then a stomp to the chest as well. He chokes Montez out against the ropes before whipping him into the corner. But after doing so, Montez dodges the flurry of handsprings and then gets a dropkick on Sammy. Then have Big E in versus Corbin. Get a shoulder tackle to Corbin, which he no-sells before clotheslining Big E. Get a back elbow to Corbin, and then Big E is driven into the opposing corner. Sammy and the men attack him as the referee is distracted. Kevin Owens comes in, attacks Sammy, and then it becomes a brawl. Because I believe Kevin Owens gets a stunner onto Sammy ringside, and suddenly it's just every man dogpiling. We go to commercial break, we come back. It's Otis versus Kevin Owens. There's a crossface on Kevin, and Kevin fights free right into a punch to the midsection, gets shoved into the opposing corner. Apollo gets in. He lifts Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens elbows himself out of the way. Attempts the stunner, fails the stunner. Apollo blocks, gets a kick onto Kevin. Kevin then hits an inverted atomic drop and a step-up enziguri. There's a spinning back heel to Apollo. Shinsuke gets in. Get a single leg dropkick to Sammy, who is also a legal man now. Corbin gets kicked off the apron. Chad gets sent ringside. We get a step-up enziguri to Sammy. Sammy takes the Profits off the apron. At this point, Kevin and Big E are also not there. So it's just the men fighting each other. We get a sliding backwards suplex to Sammy, and then Shinsuke goes up top with a flying kick. Corbin breaks the cover and throws Shinsuke out. Big E gets in with a belly-to-belly to Corbin. Apollo jumps in. We get a step-up enziguri and a German suplex. Kevin Owens gets a stunner onto Apollo. He super kicks Otis. Kevin super kicks Otis. Chad then German suplexes Kevin. Dawkins tackles Chad. Montez flies out from the ring onto all of them. We're back in the ring. Sammy and Shinsuke are still fighting. There's a failed Kinshasa. Shinsuke manages a kick to the face of Sammy, but does not realize that Sammy has now tagged in Corbin. Corbin gets in. We get a nasty little fucking end of days because Corbin, God bless his fucking soul. I love him so much. And that end of days is the end of days for Shinsuke and his team as Corbin and the heels win.
Yep. Feels like there was no purpose to this match.
I was confused by it. It was very like when Eddie Long was talking about it, I thought they were kind of like playing it off like, oh, he's just like this kooky old man now, just trying to get back that fire he used to have back when he was announcing tag matches, and that this wouldn't happen. It just seemed so out there, and then it did happen, and I was like, okay.
You know what I would have rather seen? Fatal 4-way between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Big E, and Apollo.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Where Kevin Owens, Sammy pins Kevin. Have that. And then Apollo is protected. He's a champion. Big E, who might be the next challenger, is protected. Sammy looks better. And Kevin, he's not doing shit, so it doesn't matter if he takes a pin. And then next week you could have a triple threat between Sammy, Kevin, and Big E, where the winner gets number one contender spot for Backlash.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Because I the Street Profits and Alpha Academy were not needed for this. We really didn't get that much story building from their interactions.
Shinsuke didn't need to be in this. As awful
neither
as it
did
sounds.
Corbin. Which, to be fair, I was happy to see Shinsuke and Corbin because, like, we haven't seen them in a while, but
No Alistair today.
Oh, yeah.
We've been building him up for the past 2 weeks for what? I mean, did they bring him back a week early?
Maybe they just didn't know how to fit it into tonight.
Guess. I don't know. But anyway, after that match, we had Roman and Jay backstage. Roman's lecturing Jay. He says, "We do it for our family. We do it because we love each other. I love your brother, and I want to give him the same opportunities, but I need to know where he stands. We're about to find out right now." And then we get Roman and Jay in the ring. Roman says, "This is not how I envisioned the night. I bring your brother back in, and then Usos." Jimmy Uso comes out. Jimmy says to Jay, "Where do you stand? I sat at home in the I Quit match. Then Roman dragged me in the ring and strangled me all the way from home." He said, "That's what made you quit. If it were me, I'd never say I quit to Roman, no matter what." I like that he's kind of hung up on the Hell in a Cell match. Roman says, "That's what this is all about? Still stuck in the past? We've moved forward. Fall in line. Stand with us. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge me. Or you can take your ass home." Jimmy starts to walk out. Jay follows him, but stops him and said, This could be easy. Just acknowledge him." But then Cesaro comes out of nowhere, attacks Roman. Jimmy tries to hold Jay back from helping Roman, but Jay still runs in and helps. Jimmy then runs in and helps, attacks Cesaro, but Cesaro takes down everyone. And then he stands tall. And that's where we
Almost
end.
pile drives Jay.
Well, yeah, he gets off a neutralizer, but almost just pile drives his head right into the mat. Thank God it wasn't. But yeah, Cesaro stands tall, and that's our episode. We'll see what happens next week.
Next week on Smackdown.
Yeah.
Peter, do you have anything to say about this?
I'm really nervous for next week because it feels like this was a go-home show. Really felt like a go-home show.
It did. I kind of forgot that. It made me feel like Backlash was like this Sunday.
Yeah. So there's got to be some curveball that's thrown in. Definitely for the Bianca Bailey match. Something's got to be thrown in there. Probably Sasha. Make it a triple threat.
Well, we haven't seen Sasha in a minute.
True. Or Becky Lynch comes in and wants to be in a triple threat. Or Daniel Bryan comes in and wants to make it a triple threat.
I mean, he doesn't have a contract right now, so I don't think that will happen. But, like, God, I wish.
Oh, man. Okay, so bests of the night. Oh, but first, before we get to best of the night, let me give an update on the Pinfall Podcast Power Rankings of WWE for this week. So, an update on the top 10 of WWE right now. Not a whole lot changed. But, number 10, we've got the NXT UK champion, Walter. Number 9, we've got one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Nash Carter. Number 8, the original bro, former United States Champion, Riddle. Number 7, the other half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Wes Lee. Number 6, the current challenger for the Universal Championship, Cesaro. Number 5, one of the current challengers for the WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre. Number 4, the WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley. Number 3, one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Shayna Baszler. Number 2, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him. And number 1, last but not least, the other half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax. Nia and Roman are just shuffling places back and forth each week.
So confusing to me.
Yeah? Is that Nia's number 1?
Yeah.
It's because she and Shayna have had 6 title defenses this year.
Ow.
That's like 1 a month. More than that. Like one every pay-per-view. Roughly. Almost double that, actually. 2 every pay-per-view, almost. Because there's been 4 pay-per-views this month. Alright, so best of the night. Let's begin with promo of the night. We started off with Roman, Paul, and Jay in the ring. We get the eulogy to Daniel Bryan's career. We get Cesaro coming out. We get Jimmy Uso returning. That's the big headline here. This was great. This promo was fantastic. Jimmy coming back. Cesaro being on the mic, proving he doesn't need Daniel Bryan as a mouthpiece. Teddy Long coming out, making that stipulation. Everything about this was great. Then we had Seth and Roman backstage. Again, this was great because it proves that, or it shows who Roman sees as an equal. Then we have Teddy Long and Sonya. This was funny. This is a funny promo. A little weird, but funny. You really feel for Sammy in it.
Like the dancing.
Yeah. Dancing was funny. Sammy was like, no, I'm not going to dance with you. I don't want to dance, but like still dancing.
Like trying to stop it, but it was still happening.
We then have Roman and the Usos backstage, where he rails into Jimmy a little bit, but Jimmy rails back. That was interesting. Then we had Bayley in the ring with Bianca. Bayley's part was something else. Like, she is prime heel.
She does her best work as a heel.
Yeah.
Makes the hugger stuff just that much more scary, though.
Just knowing what lies underneath. Yeah, this was great stuff. Yeah, really well done. And it's like Bayley comes out on top, but not in like a clean pin fashion where it's like, okay, you just pinned the champ. It's like she just tortured Bianca. Great. Then we have the Usos backstage. That was fine. Nice to see that little moment between them, see the tag team idea pitched. Good stuff. Then we had Reginald, Nia, and Shayna interview. That was pretty lame, knowing the match that follows. Then we had Roman and Paul. Roman asking for his cousin. That was funny. Then we had Apollo and his team, which screamed Survivor Series match. That was whatever. Then we had Big E and his team. Again, Survivor Series. Felt like that. That was fine. Then we had Roman and Jay backstage. That was fine. Roman and Jay in the ring to close out. With Cesaro and his sneak attack. That was good. I really liked Jimmy pointing out that he is stuck on what happened at Hell in a Cell. But if I were to give it to one promo today, it has to be Jimmy Uso's return.
I fully agree. And if you did not give it to that, I'd be like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have been waiting so fucking long for Jimothy.
Yeah. So now we move on to Wrestler of the Night. We start off with Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. And I am 100% going with Cesaro. He's an incredible wrestler. And the way he moves, the way he wrestles, it's like every single match he has is a pay-per-view match. He is that talented. He is damn incredible. Seth was good too, but there's something about Seth today that just it turned me off a little bit. I think it's just it was that little hook with his foot. You know?
Like that?
I just think I think it's gotten to the point where it's like cheesy.
Like, we don't need to see it every single time.
Right. Like you do it so much it's gonna get countered.
I get that.
Then we had Ruby Riott versus Carmella. I actually picked Ruby. I thought Ruby was great. I did like to see Carmella get in the Code of Silence and kicking Liv Morgan off the ring, but I think overall Ruby rocked this match. Then we had Dolph Ziggler versus Dominic Mysterio, and I looked down for 2 seconds and this match was over, so I'm gonna give it to the only person that I saw do anything, and that was Dolph Ziggler. I guess.
I don't blame you, Dom. Got like 2 hits, and that's it.
Yep. Then we had Tamina versus Reginald. I'm not gonna give it to the guy who didn't try and attack at all. I'm gonna give it to Tamina.
I mean, the guy that didn't fight in the match.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of having a match? Have a fucking acrobatics contest or whatever. Gymnastics. And then we had the 10-man tag, which I didn't pick somebody for. Cause
How could you?
I could not retain what anybody did in this match. But I'll go with Shinsuke. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good boy.
Or it's either Shinsuke or Angelo Dawkins. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because the person who gets Wrestler of the Night tonight is Cesaro.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. It's always just something else, and I'm so happy that he's finally getting this shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope he wins. Because if he doesn't, I don't know what's going to happen to him.
If he doesn't, honestly, I think you just have to wait till Money in the Bank.
No, Big E's winning Money in the Bank.
Oh, I mean, like, I think there'll be a rematch of Money in the Bank.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Remember the Seth Drew fight at Money in the Bank? That was actually really decent.
It was. Yeah.
One of Drew's best feuds, I think, in my opinion.
I didn't
Seth and Dolph.
I wasn't there for a lot of the Seth Drew feud. Like we weren't watching Raw very much at that point. We started with like the episode before Money in the Bank.
No, we didn't. We go over this every time. We started with the episode after WrestleMania.
I remember starting Raw with like Money in the Bank qualifying matches.
I mean, I'm sure that happened because Money in the Bank was supposed to happen right after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Or did happen right after WrestleMania, but we started with the episode after WrestleMania, and I only remember that because we started with a look back at what happened right after Drew got the title, which was when Big Show attacked him.
Right.
That is my most vivid memory of Raw.
But regardless, I don't really remember their feud very much. But
That's fair.
Dolph and Drew's feud, that was great. That was some really good stuff.
You know what made those 2 feuds the best in my opinion?
Good writing.
They were short.
Short, yeah. Was it one match that they had?
I I think they both had one pay-per-view match.
Yeah, they had 2 matches because the Extreme Rules match, Dolph said only he could follow the Extreme Rules. And then Drew wanted another match that allowed them both to use Extreme Rules stipulations. That was a very well executed feud.
Yeah.
But
we got Randy for 6 months.
God, was Randy the next one? Yeah, he was. Yeah. That sucked. It's good at first. But match of the night tonight. We start off with Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Really fun match. This should have been the main event because this was fantastic. I can see why it wasn't the main event because this needed to come prior to the aftermath of everything. Yeah, really great stuff in this match. Amazing way to kick off the show. Really loved it. Then we had Ruby Riott versus Carmella. This match needed to be longer. This could have been a really fun match. It was getting to be that way too, until it just ended with. What was it? Oh no, it was the Code of Silence after like 5 roll-ups. Then we had Dolph Ziggler versus Dominic Mysterio. Again, ended in like 2 minutes. This could have been a very fun match. You have Dominic, who's good in the ring, and you have Dolph, who's also good in the ring and makes other people look great. That's like his whole thing. Really good at selling. Anyway, then we had Tamina versus Reginald. This wasn't a match. This is a training session.
Yeah.
Then we had the 10-man tag. It was like unnecessary. Very unnecessary. I don't find 10-man tags fun.
I don't find 8-man tags fun.
Most of the time,
the 6-man tag is even pushing it for me.
6-man tag I can do because most teams are like 3 people, or it's like 2 guys and an associate. If it's 8-man or 10-man, if it's not like a whole faction like Undisputed Era versus the Brand or something, it always just comes off as like lazy booking. You could have split up the match.
Yeah.
You didn't.
It feels like, I don't know how else to describe this other than like there are times where I remember back when I was like writing when I was like a lot younger, I would have so many characters and then all of a sudden I'd be like, well fuck, I haven't used these characters in like 20 chapters. I'm like, well, just throw them all together for like a party or something. Who fucking knows?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels. They're just like, oh fuck, we have all these men.
Yeah. Yep, you could have had this match as a fatal 4-way between Apollo, Kevin, Sammy, and E. Had Teddy Long been like to Sammy, you're gonna fight Apollo Crews, and he's like, great. And Kevin Owens and Big E. And then you could have replaced Reginald and Tamina with maybe Street Profits and Shinsuke versus Alpha Academy and Baron Corbin.
You should have just had Tamina versus somebody else, another woman.
They've done Tamina versus Nia and Tamina versus Shayna, I think.
Okay, so why can't we just have Tamina versus another woman and just have Tamina fight another woman and show that she has a lot of strength?
Because they don't have any jobbers on the roster right now.
It doesn't even need to be a jobber. Just let it be somebody.
Could have fought
have women.
Sasha. Ever fight Sasha? Sasha can take a loss.
I don't know if they would book Sasha like that, considering I know that they're gonna bring her in for Bianca and Bailey.
Ever fight Liv Morgan? Ruby had a match. Give Liv a match. Or have Natty fight Liv.
There's so many options,
Yeah.
but
But match
lucky
of the
we got
night.
2 women's matches though. It's more than Raw sometimes gives us.
Yeah, but it was the length of one Raw match.
True.
And
There was diversity.
it was the length of 1/4 of an NXT match.
Anyways, let's not focus on it. Does
Um,
NXT manage to have so many fucking matches that are like all like healthy lengths? It's still 2 hours.
it's because
NXT somehow it's like the Mary Poppins bag of like fucking wrestling for me.
it's because they don't oversaturate. Because they're not trying to cram shit in. They're not trying to make sure everyone gets the spotlight.
I thought you were back on your lighting thing, and I was like, I don't think
No.
that's it. I don't think that's why.
Because you have Finn Balor off of TV for a couple episodes. You have Kyle O'Reilly not on for an episode. You spread it out. You know?
Yeah.
You don't need to give everyone a match. You can just give somebody a promo and that's it. But anyway, match of the night. We know what it is. Seth Rollins versus Cesaro.
It gave us a mini Shield reunion. And for that, I'm forever thankful.
Yeah, and it gave us Seth getting mad with the Usos. And this gave us so much depth to the feud. Like this feud is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
And
There's
Edge,
so much that like they can do.
Edge better not fucking come in and ruin it.
Dude, I just wouldn't mind Edge like showing up. I just don't know where he is.
He should be a guest ref. Because he was such a great enforcer.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be so good. It's like they announced last second. And joining us, our guest ref, Edge. Roman just pisses himself.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those things that sits in the back of my head every day.
Mm-hmm. All right, so promo of the night to run it back. Jimmy Uso returns. Wrestler of the night, Cesaro. Match of the night, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
Yeah. My headache's gone, so that's cool.
Good.
Just in time.
Just in time to start the podcast.
And welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. If you joined us tonight, thank you so much. And if you join us in the future, thank you so much. Happy birthday to me. You need to know about this month. Also, Mother's Day is on Sunday, so if you haven't gotten your mother something, you can probably still get her flowers. That said, please join us on Monday for Monday Night Raw, where we watch Raw so you don't have to.
We have to do our Pepita predicts. Our cat predicts the Backlash.
Yes, Pepita's predictions for Backlash. You're gonna get so many treats. Ignore me. I think there's an ant on the ground.
Ugh. I'm just thinking about Roman versus Cesaro and how that match is gonna be a fucking banger.
It is. It's gonna be so much fun. Knowing Pete, so she's gonna pick Roman. She might actually be right.
Yeah.
But please join us on Monday for Raw Go Home show. It's going to be an episode of the podcast.
We're getting Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre.
Anyways, yeah. So please join us. And thank you. Yes.
Thank you all for watching. Follow, subscribe. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. You can see all of our past podcasts there, but if you don't want to wait, if you're subscribed to our Twitch, you can see the past 2 weeks of podcasts. You don't need to wait till they're uploaded. You can see them right on Twitch. That's only if you're subscribed. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast, as you can see down below. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And we will see you all on Monday. Have a fantastic evening, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Say Happy Mother's Day to your mothers for us.
Unless you don't like your mother, then say Happy Mother's Day to
Your aunt.
the moon.
Okay, your cat.
Yeah, sure.
Have a fantastic weekend. See you on Monday.